Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the EOF Era 5 coverage of the Brazilian Grand Prix, where, as you can see, it is absolutely chucking it down, and the drivers, well, they're on the full wet tyres. It's our last race of the season. Only 12 turned out for today, which is disappointing, but you know, we always get this at the end of the season with league racing, and we'll try and make it as much of an event as possible. I'm going to try and get the boys for some of a weather check as we see Andreas go out of his garage. I'm also going to turn my chat mix up a bit. I will ask the boys for a weather check, but yeah, we go into today with a three-way title battle, would you believe it? It's been very close all season. The last time I was with you, of course, I've had some issues recently, so I haven't been able to commentate. But the last time I was with you in Hungary, we had about 7 drivers in for the title fight, and that has narrowed it down to 3 now for this last race. But we have them all racing today. We have Stevie, who I'm selecting right now, and we also have the 2 Alpha Tauris who have really come into their own. They've improved so much as a side, and they are Jacob Tucker, who we see coming out. He's going to be the first to set his lap, and Jack Bailey, who is just behind his teammate. And yeah, it's those two have been very impressive. I believe they just about have the constructors wrapped. No, they do have the constructors wrapped up with a 73-point advantage. Which sums them up really. They've been fairly dominant, especially for this second part of the season. We're just going to turn our game volume down a little bit, and hopefully see Energy Jet Jacob take us for a lap of Brazilian Loretto, breaking down into turn 1, very cautious with the gears, looking nice, keeps it flat. Car struggling to accelerate a bit, a little bit snippy on the exit. I raced here in the full wet in qualifying, and I went flying off at the first corner after my first lap, and he does a 91 first sector, which is actually pretty fast. Goes flat, well, almost flat, coming up through Casino del Lago, the double apex right hander. Quite tentative, it has to be said, but he's keeping a nice line for sure. But he has gone very wide at the apex there. Double upshifts into third gear, but that will lose him a few tenths of a second. Certainly it's not ideal for Jacob, although it's been impressive otherwise. And flat on the throttle quite early there. Just moves that wheel that little extra degree in to get the maximum rotation. Has to be cautious now through here. It's a 1:0 split, which I actually think is not too bad, considering he had a little mistake. And yeah, it's a decent exit out of the last corner, so this is going to be a decent lap time from Jacob Tucker here, the current championship leader, and I would say the form man. He's shown himself to be the fastest driver in the division. He sets a 1:18.3 recently, but of course this is such an unpredictable circuit, very short, a lot of laps to complete, a lot of places to invalidate in qualifying or get warnings, as Andreas goes about 3 tenths behind him. His teammate JD Bailey is 8 tenths off. Actually, that's not what he would have wanted, and Mark is just about to set his lap, as I believe he is on another lap actually, Jacob, so we're going to go around with him again. Actually, we'll have a look at Stevie. We'll see what Jacob does. We'll get updated on him by the time he goes through the middle sector. Sweet Blues goes second with a 1:18.690, so still everyone 3 tenths shy of Jacob in the Alpha Tauri. But yeah, so just to discuss, we have Jacob, who is currently on 181 points, and his teammate Jack Bailey just 2 behind on 179. These two fighting it tooth and nail throughout the season. Jacob hasn't had a win since Spain, and I know he expects a win of himself. With recently his time trial pace has been exceptional. All the boys in F5 have been praising him for how fast he's looked. You see Stevie come through this difficult complex, goes down into first gear again like Jacob, but this time he doesn't go too far wide of the apex. I think Jacob's going to cross the line as well, but he is 2 tenths down, and I don't believe he's going to improve. He might be going on another lap though. Stevie looking to be quite cautious on the throttle in the Ferrari. Let's hope Shane Mabs does not hold him up. I think he's a couple tenths off Jacob, and Mabs is really getting in his way actually. That's not too good to see. I think Mabs is on a lap, but that's the thing. Or Stevie is getting a very nice slipstream, it has to be said. Is this going to take him up to fastest? Well, it gets into P2, and he unsurprisingly gets a purple last sector. The Mabs brakes very hard, and Stevie has to avoid him. Sweet Blues is going on another lap. Filippo then going up to P2. He's had a lot of pole position this season, showing some really impressive qualifying pace, particularly towards the earlier stages. The Polish man, and yeah, he's closer to Jacob so far by quite some margin. Jacob, however, is a 10th up and still has plenty of ERS in the tank. And he's now 2.3 tenths up. This is looking good from Jacob, I think. Maybe a little bit wider the apex on Jinsao. But he is going to come across the line now. Going to take the shortest route possible. That's what you're going to see the drivers do in qualifying today. And he is going to go faster with a 1:18.2. So that extends that gap to almost 4 tenths. And that is impressive. This man already setting himself out to be the favourite. And he's going on another lap. Would you believe it? This guy will not stop. His teammate JD Bailey is only 2 tenths up actually. I'm not sure he's going to be too happy with that considering how far he is off his teammate's time. I was supposed to say teammate, he's also his championship rival for the season. And yeah, he goes up into P7 with an 18.8, but not too much of an improvement from him position wise. But yeah, I mean, up until Mavs, I mean, the grid is separated by about, what, 1.2 seconds. Is Mavs up? No, he's down. At least I think. Yeah, he's not using his ERS. Is Jacob going to cross the line again? No, he's invalidated it. Zabiaka went up into P2 actually. I forgot to mention Sweet Blues also improved. Both of these guys on an 18.43, very close to each other, just 5 thousandths separating the Finn and the Swede. Stevie goes flying past the parked Alfa Romeo of Sweet Blues. A little bit of a lift from Stevie as he made the apex here. He actually has gone down to first very smartly, although he's a little bit too far to the inside on that entrance. He's riding that curb all the way. And traction's actually not turned out too badly for him there. It's actually decent from Stevie right now. Has to lift off quite a lot, but he gets to take the second part flat, and he is 3 tenths up now. It's a purple middle sector for Stevie, although he is going to lose time in this last sector because of the slipstream he got from Mavs. He's about 2 tenths down on Jacob's time, but I still think Stevie is going to make some improvements, some forage, maybe up onto the front row. I don't think it's going to be pole, but he is going to get onto the front row. He's very close as well, and he does another purple last sector. Surprisingly, he lost more time. He didn't lose time when I thought he was going to lose a fair few tenths. But yeah, Stevie just 100th off his championship rival. And I say championship rival, the two boys who really have the most to lose today are the Alpha Tauris, just 2 points separating them. Stevie's actually quite far adrift on 13 from Jacob. But of course, anything can happen. If a driver fails to finish, that really could be it, considering how few drivers have turned out for this last race of the season. Who else is on a lap? Jacob's going round again. Is he going to stop anytime soon? Is he going to... Nope, he's not coming into the pits. This man is pretty ruthless. Surely he's not going to have grip now. He's just... It's like a race stint for Jacob, and he's still fastest. Filippo coming out on his outlap. No, he can definitely show something, knowing how good he is. Jacob is 500th up somehow, though his ERS count is looking really low. I think he might be able to save some in this weather, although he has actually gone very deep there, and he's also low on fuel. A little bit, just, I mean, you can just tell the tyres are sort of losing their tread, losing their grip a little for Jacob, but Stevie has started another lap. Is he going to be up? I don't know. He's actually hit the apex quite well there and confident on the throttle, so that's a good corner for our championship leader, but some really bad understeer. He's 3 tenths up. I do not believe that, but he has caught the grass and he's messed it up. He was 3 tenths up there with Jacob, and I think he's lost the time. That was really impressive. Is that Stevie's had a spin, or is that his teammate Jez Villeneuve? I don't know if Stevie's on a lap. He's using very high gears. I think he is. Yeah, he's not on a lap. So yeah, Jacob pulls up into the pits, but that could have been a big improvement for him. And we see anyone dip into the 17s. My lap in the wet yesterday, although it was my first, was a 17.7, and that felt pretty strong. So if I see these guys dipping in to that range, JD Bailey improves to an 18.6, but he's still a fair bit off the pace. And Stevie has gone right around there. He's going to have to be careful not to get disqualified here, but I think he's just about done enough. Is Filippo improving? Oh, Filippo's 4 tenths up actually. He's done a 59.7. Could we see Filippo take that top spot off Energy Jet and push Stevie down onto the second row? Let's see. I think he is, you know, and he has done an 18.0. Has the pole, and well, he goes on to pole. And well, I apologise for that pun. I think you'll be glad to hear the season is ending today. Zabiyaka, a little bit awkward. I don't know if he's going to be improving after that. And he's about 800 down, but still time in it for Sebastian the Thing. Sweet Blues has gone on the lap. Let's see what Sweet Blues is all about actually, because I know he's got some decent pace. He's getting into second gear. That's quite low, and he had to lift off quite significantly, but he's got a decent run out into the Retroposta here, and yeah, he's about 1.5 tenths up, so a good start for Sweet Blues. I think Filippo right now has actually put down a bit of a marker. He's a 10.5 clear. Is he improving though? No, he's not. He's 9 tenths down, so he's probably going to come to the pits this lap. Only 6 minutes to go in quali. Zabiyaka spun. As we see, Sweet Blues looks like he's taking that very well actually, and comes across all the way to the apex. This is very good. Yeah, I'm liking the way this looks from this Swede. Victor Sandala, though, he's had to lift off dramatically. And yeah, he's still done a 51.7, that's strong. Right now, he's currently on to go P2. This looks like a decent lap so far from the Alfa Romeo driver. Can he even get near Filippo's time? Well, I wouldn't be too surprised with that split. Let's see what it is coming across the line. I think it's going to be an 18.1. Oh no! He has improved on Filippo's time. He's cleared him by about 100th of a second. He's very close as always. And now the championship rivals, two of them, and JD Bailey in 7th as well, who's currently 3 tenths up actually. This is looks like he's finally found his own. I don't think he's even been in the pits. He's done 7 laps on these tyres, but he is going to get into P6 there. And an 18.4 again. I think he would have hoped a little bit more with that split. Only 2 tenths down on the boys, who are now 4 tenths up on him through the middle sector. Filippo, I think he's going to should peel into the pits, to be honest. I think he should go for some new wet tyres, and he is going to do so. Sweet Blues has backed out of his lap. Energy Jet is on his out lap now. Zabiyaka did an 18.8 in the first sector, which is pretty quick, and he's done a 59.6. So it's unfortunate for him that's invalid, because this would have been pole position unless he's running a very high downforce setup. Boomer has been, I don't think he's been out actually. Milan has been unable to set a lap. We know he has got some decent pace. There's the Dutchman. Is Sweet Blues going to go for it again though? I think he would, because he's only done 1 lap on this set of tyres, although his fuel is very low. So he's going to peel into the pits. Okay, let's see Energy Jet now. Going through the first corner. Just about misses the inside curb, but he sweeps through turn 2. He's done very nice performance of the centre S. It's a little bit awkward though on traction. Oh, and JD Bailey has finally pulled the lap out of the bag. That's what he's been looking for. It's a 118.1. And I hear a driver. Is that Mabs? Oh wow. This is not going to be ideal for him. He has lost his wing in the pits, and yeah, I feel for him a bit there. But anyway, we're going to go back to Energy Jet. See him coming through this technical section, letting the car run out on the outside. Does it well actually. This is looking accomplished to say the least. But a little bit of a slide, a little bit too heavy on braking. I mean, even when you don't use ABS, it has the effect of your tyres locking up. but Jacob is 4 tenths up, but he clips the grass again. Is that going to compromise his exit? It actually looks like he's got a decent run, and I think, well, this is going to be the fastest lap, but how much is he going to get it by? Because I feel like a lot of drivers have something else in attack. I don't think Jacob is completely dominant, but he does go fastest with a 17.5. Now that is a big margin, almost 5 tenths to it from Jacob Tucker. And yeah, that's a big statement. Filippo and Sweet Blue's coming out. Stevie's on his outlap as well. He's about to cross the line, maybe to get 1 or 2 runs in. Sorry, I'll try and get the light shut up. The poll ends when qualified. Yep. Voting the polls, boys. And anyway, let's see Stevie. Let's see what he can do. Stevie really needs a win today, nothing else, and a pole position would be ideal because of the extra point. And that's looking assured actually from Stevie, it has to be said. This looked like a decent first sector from the Indian driver, last season champion. He's been here before. We watched him win here last season as well. Somehow he's not invalidated there. It definitely looked like he'd gone wide. I'm quite surprised, but it's not looking too bad for him. He's about 600s up, 700s up coming through the first sector, but yeah, he's applying considerably less throttle than Jacob Tucker is through that section. I think that is costing him valuable time, and all that is, he needs to avoid the wall there. That is all good for Stevie, to say the least, really. He's going to have to also avoid getting in the way of Jez Villeneuve, which he does. Yeah, unfortunate for Stevie, although he has got another chance to make the lap work. Energy Jet, I believe, is going on his final run, unless the clock is desynced. But he is low on fuel, actually. He's only got 0.7 laps of fuel, and I don't think he's going to make it round. He's going to try at least, but I think he's going to run out on the back straight, and that is going to cost him. JD Bailey has come out of the pits, I think maybe a little bit too late, but who knows. Unless he's timed it perfectly. Stevie's coming across the line now. Mabs retires at the first corner. It's only a 21.0 for him. He won't be too happy with that. Oh, that's so unfortunate. His car is just sitting in the middle of the track. And I don't know when the checker flag is out, but that is another problem with this game. The cars do not ghost, and that may have ruined Stevie. Hopefully the clock is incorrect. Energy Jet, meanwhile, is a 10th up on an 18.8 coming through the middle sector, but he's actually 4 tenths down, and this is he's got 0.1 laps of fuel. It's not going to be the lap for Jacob Tucker. At least he's not going to be able to improve on it. But can Sweet Blues do anything about it? The checker flag is out. Is it going to be out for Filippo as well? It is, and he does not get to set a time. So the onus is really on Sweet Blues. JD Bailey managed to mistime his lap horrifically. Can Sweet Blues has already been validated. I don't know what I'm on about. Zabiaka I know is quick, but he was a 10th down. See how Mark's doing down there, and Jez Villeneuve also just about down on his lap time. But I think this is going to be, unless Mark pulls an absolute miracle out in the middle of the last sector, this is going to be a Jacob Tucker pole position, and that is exactly what is needed, with his rivals down in 4th and 5th, both failing to set a time where he didn't. And Mark looked like he could have got ahead of Zabiaka, to be honest, but he did lock up there. Speaking of which, Zabiaka is going to come across the line now. He's going to get onto P5, and after a weaker first sector, you can tell he definitely has some pace in the wet around here. So I'm not sure if he'll be too happy with that. Mark only just about improves to an 18.8. That lockup did really cost him, but yeah, Jacob's on pole by what, nearly 5 tenths. Really sensational from the Brit. As we just wait for the last few boys to cross the line. Milan is in low fuel mode, I believe. No, he's not. Now he is. We have to wait for Sweet Blues in the pits. But yeah, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. He does retire from the session. So Jacob Tucker is on pole, but of course Brazil can throw out surprises. We know that for certain. And it is far from over, although that does get him an extra point, extending it to 3 in the championship now. But well done to him. And yeah, it's a dry race. I hadn't checked my phone beforehand, but we can now confirm that. But yeah, Energy Jet on P1, Sweet Blues alongside him on the front row. Philip and JD Bailey take up the second row here with 18-0 and 18-1 respectively. Behind him, just 300 behind Jack, is Zabayaka, who is pairing up with Stevie on the third row. Andreas and Mark take up the fourth row. JS Villeneuve in the other Ferrari in ninth. Milan in 10th. Mabs DNF in the session in 11th. And Boomer, who just didn't set a time for some reason, is starting last of the 12. But of course, pretty much anyone is in a points. Anyone who finishes will score points today. I'm almost certain of it, unless everyone manages to finish the race, which would be some surprised having seen some of the previous races in F5. But I'm all for it if it's possible. As we had it forecast, the weather is looking, well, it's quite dark, but it is dry. That is that's the main thing. So these boys are going to hopefully, if they know about it, they'll be going for the medium soft strategy, which is, with correct management, is by far the most effective strategy here. Or you can reverse it to soft medium. It doesn't ultimately matter that much. Both types can go quite a long way here. Although overheating is a nightmare around Brazil. You really do have to manage it carefully, because if not, you will be battling a spin on every traction zone by the third or fourth lap. Speaking from experience here, actually. As yeah, the session is going to get underway. We'll have a look at the tyres that everyone has selected. Looks like Jacob is on the mediums, whereas Sweet Blues is on the soft. So Jacob is going to have to put in some work to stay ahead of the Alfa Romeo, at least for these first few laps. Only 3 drivers have opted for the mediums, actually, and the other 9 have opted for the softs. So it's going to be a struggle for Jacob, who's going to have to go for a big overcut, obviously. But knowing him, when he gets on those soft tyres, his pace is going to be formidable. Of course, this isn't taking into account all the safety cars that could happen. These 12 boys, although they're clean drivers, they're all prone to mistakes, I think, as every league racer is. And of course, we cannot predict the result of the championship until they have passed that finishing line. But yeah, Stevie opts for the softs, as does JD Bailey. So the AlphaTauri is running the alternate strategy, maybe looking to avoid getting in each other's way in the pits. I mean, who knows? Or maybe, I know these guys are good friends, so they'll want a fair fight. But of course, there's going to be some rivalry creeping in on this formation lap. If they're in a party together, the words are definitely going to be few and far between. As we see, and Mercedes, is that Felipe? Yeah, he's spun and been disqualified. I think he had a collision with someone. So that's going to give him cold tyres off the start. If oh yeah, it is going to give him cold tyres at the start, so he could be prone to an attack from JD Bailey, who has also spun. Oh no, that's Energy Jet, I believe. That is Energy Jet, and he has spun in the formation lap. Although it doesn't matter in terms of the race, as he's so close to the line, it's still going to be a little bit of a psychological shaking for him, for sure. It's going to show him that the medium tyre grip is not as optimal as he might hope for, especially when they're colder at these early stages. And yeah, it might be a little psychological blow for him. The first of hopefully we're going to see many tests for him today. We do want his championship to be have a deserved outcome. Of course, I'm not going to give my own judgment call on that. I think all of these 3 drivers have been exceptional this season, both in their pace and their standard of racing. But here we go, here in Brazil. We're going to wait here on the grid. Hopefully we're going to get these red lights going at some point. I feel like this is a restarted lobby, to be honest. Oh, I can see 4 and 5 red lights here. Here we go, it's lights out. And away we go for the Brazilian Grand Prix. And it looks like Sweet Blues might have got a better reflex, but I think Energy Jet did get a better start. And JD Bailey has gone, send it down the inside. And he's got up into P2. Sweet Blue's going to have a look on the inside, but he's not going to make it. And JD Bailey with an absolutely brilliant start. As I feared, he jumped Filippo straight away, and he's going to be looking to make that move on his teammate before those tyres start to overheat. But Energy Jet has got a good getaway. Initially, it looked like he was a little bit slow off the start in terms of reactions, but he did get a better second phase than Sweet Blues, that's for certain, and he leads them away. Coming into the middle sector, no incidents, although Mavs seems to have lost some time to the boys behind him. Everyone within a second each other now. Milan and Villeneuve are swapping places here. Milan on the inside of the corner. Villeneuve is just about going to have the inside line. That looks likely racing, but is Milan going to go for a move down the inside? No, he kind of backs out and lets Villeneuve have a run. Is that a yellow flag? That is, I believe that's Mark. Mark has spun round at the right. I believe that is turn 8, and he's not going to be happy with that. And his teammate Boomer, the McLarens, it's a disaster for them. Energy Jet leads everyone away, and behind you, mind you, JD Bailey has actually gapped Sweet Blues by over a second, so that all-important DRS train in Brazil could fail to materialise, at least throughout the whole grid. What's everyone's DRS looking like? JD Bailey, sorry, Energy Jet is using a lot. He knows that those medium tyres are going to come into their own, and he's going to have to do his best to push away from the softs at this point of the race. But Jack's going to have pace, there is no doubt about that. Stevie's still in P5 though, he's not going to be happy with this. As I said, all Stevie wants and needs really is a win to claim back-to-back championships for one of, well, I believe Max Rowe did do it in F1, but one of the first times in Aero, that's for sure. As he gets a little moment there, the dirty air is going to be very troublesome, and Filippo actually is looking like he's out of that 1 second race. Sweet Blues has caught back up to JD Bailey, so now everyone is within DRS of each other up until Villeneuve, and of course the only man on the medium tyre is Jacob Tucker. Speaking of which, JD Bailey, he set a 10-2 fastest lap. He's going to go for a move. No, he isn't. He's going to try and set up the apex as best as he can. I think he is going to have DRS coming down into the Retroposter. Is he going to use DRS? Is he going to try and manage the move? I think he's going to be, yeah, he's going to be careful. He's not sending the DRS too much. He backed out a little bit. So yeah, sensible driving from the AlphaTauri in P2. Of course, whoever finishes in front in this race is the winner of the championship between these two. I believe there is no distinction unless it's something like Jacob finishes in P9 and Jack finishes in P10. There is no real there's nothing separating. There's been nothing separating these boys all season. It's Milan already gets a 3-second time penalty. We could be the first of many. It has been a theme with the F5 racing this season, but you can just tell JD Bailey does have superior grip. He's not really pushing that much, although Energy Jet has successfully saved the DRS to some extent. But now Jack is going to deploy all of it down this back straight. And I think he's going to get the move here. Yeah, Energy Jet isn't even going to defend it. He's going to let him through on the outside. And Jack Bailey does storm into the lead. As Stevie says, the fastest lap of the race. He did get past Filippo at one point. So we see the top 3 boys in the top 3 spots on the podium. Very, very possible. Sweet Blues just get a 3-second time penalty though. 3 warnings in 4 laps for the Swede. That is not boding well for him at all. But it's going to be interesting to see how Jacob Tucker fares against Jack Bailey in the middle sector. Because, well, actually at this point, I don't believe the Jack's wheel is going to give us an accurate representation. Yeah, it says his front left is on 122 degrees of other tyre temps. But one thing for certain is that he's going to be struggling. As yeah, so Jacob does have a little bit less pace than Jack does. I think I must have said Jacob Bailey at least once, so I apologise if I have. And he has to lift off majorly, the dirty air costing him a lot. He's just about going to be in the DRS range of his teammate Jack Bailey coming into the back straight, but he has lost a lot of time on this lap. And yeah, the medium tyres haven't really kicked into action. He's already a second down. He will probably get that back for when he applies the throttle a little bit through the apex. That's not going to help him. And I believe he's just about got the DRS. Yeah, he does, but he's really teetering between that second gap of his teammate, and I don't believe he's going to have it for next lap unless Jack makes some big mistake. Meanwhile, Stevie is really on the back of Sweet Blues. Filippo has gone for a move on Villeneuve, and he's actually overtaken him. It looks like round the outside there. So good job from Filippo. I'm not sure if these two were fighting, but Villeneuve is not going to be too happy with that. They're both very low on the arrest. Both been fighting tooth and nail at this race. And a lot of upshifts from Villeneuve, who's known for being quite aggressive with the gear shifts. As he breaks late, and he has got a lot of time on Filippo. Meanwhile, I believe Jacob is going to escape that DRS. Is going to stay in that DRS. Sorry, just about. Has he? I don't know. No, he hasn't. So Jacob is out the DRS now, and that could be crucial. If Jack Bailey can really pull away on these soft tyres while they last. That's the other flag. That is Milan, by the way. And who has spun down to 11th. Unfortunately for him, Boomer and Mabs get past. That's what I was going to say. If Jack Bailey can push away, that 1 second gap is hard to regain. So he wants to try and get a sufficient gap before... and try and undercut Jacob as well, so he can really come out into the lead without too much to worry about. As Milan gets another time penalty and spins on the curb. It has not been a good few corners for Milan. I don't really know what he's doing. I'm going to watch this for now. Yeah, not nice for Milan, as yeah, Jack has got another few tenths on his teammate, and he is out that DRS train. And what Jacob is going to be worried about is Stevie from behind. I don't really know what Milan's doing. Oh, mate. And for the second time, someone DNF'd himself on... I'm so tired of little immature children in this league. Yeah, anyway, never mind. And that unfortunately could affect the championship fight. I believe that is going to be a stop now for JD Bailey and all the soft runners. If they're smart about it, I think they should go into the hard. I would go into the mediums in this position personally, as I think they can make it this many laps with safety cars. But is Jack going to want to concede that track position? I'm not too sure personally. It's going to give an opportunity for his tyres to cool down and for him to harvest DRS certainly. So there are advantages to both decisions for Jack. Let's see what he does. Would go on hards now. I don't know. He's definitely going to come in. Is his teammate though? His teammate's going to stay out. So Brave. Stevie's going to stay out. Sweet Blues is coming to the pits. So could this be a title winning or title losing move from Jack Bailey? Who knows? I mean, every point counts. He's gone on to the mediums actually, so he has done what I had said. It's going to be risky, but he's going to have definitely going to have some pace. And Sweet Blues does go on to the mediums as well. They're not going for a 2-stop, are they? Because the 1-stop is certainly possible from here. I really hope he knows what he's doing. But of course, you can never be sure about what a driver is thinking in league racing. As we have another comment that isn't wanting to load really. Live chat. That was on purpose, bad loser. Yep, definitely. It's a shame. I mean, he's usually been pretty decent throughout the season, but that was not a fair move. And yeah, well, Jack is now the first of the drivers who have stopped. The top 5 have all avoided doing so under the safety car. But yeah, I think we should be going in next lap. It won't quite be enough for this lap. Quite be enough time, sorry. So only three drivers have opted for the hard strat. To be honest, I would go for it. I would have gone for it. At least something that I felt could give me a 1-stop here. So I'm a little bit surprised that the other boys have chosen to stay out, at least the soft runners. But of course, anything is possible in this league, and yeah, there's always going to be varying strategies in a race. Yeah, only 1 penalty as well, belonging to Sweet Blues. So most boys have managed to keep it clean. I don't believe when I spectated. No, so Jacob does not have a penalty, does not have a warning. Filippo on 2 warnings. JD Bailey as well does have 2 warnings, and Sweet Blues is on 4. Although I believe some of those might have been for collisions. Yeah, JD Bailey. Oh yeah, it's both. They're both for collisions, so not too significant in the grand scheme of things if they're not looked at. Yeah, Filippo does have. He has 1 for collision and 1 for track limits, so slightly disproportionately represented the amount that drivers have been going off track, but I believe they will stack up at some point in the next few laps. Of course, turn 1 and 2 being especially nasty for track limits. So safety car is of course in this lap. As usual, we're going to have a view of the second place car trying to react to this restart. Warming his tyres as much as he can. He's going from left to right, weaving in and out. And is Jacob going to go early? He is. But Stevie is aware to it. And Filippo has missed out on sometimes. Zabiaka might be looking for a move. She isn't going to go down the inside, I don't think. No. Stevie is right on that rear wing of Jacob Tucker's AlphaTauri. Look like they're already close to breaking the 1 second gap, and this could be a big move for Stevie. These boys looking fairly similar on pace. Stevie looking very comfortable as always in the Ferrari, very smooth driving style that the 2 of these boys have. TV on his way then. Filippo, as I predicted, is out of that gap. Zabiaka struggling a little bit on the mediums as well. Boomer is going into the pits. Hopefully, yeah, just about avoid speeding. We'll see what he goes on to, but yeah, that's not a very good time for him to stop. Stevie, however, is really close to Jacob. He hasn't lost any time despite the dirty air. So it shows that these soft tyres have still got some life left in them, especially with that safety car helping them to cool down and reducing wear. So Stevie is going to be eager for certain. JD Bailey as well has done well on a potential one-stop strategy. I'm not too sure as Mark gets his first penalty of the race. These boys take very different lines. Energy Jet preferring to avoid the inside curb and sweeping out and then in, and Stevie doing rather the opposite. Either way, they are very close right now. Jack looking closer and closer to Zabiaka everywhere. I really just hope there isn't an incident. At least, certainly not between 2 drivers on the same team. Two drivers. Sorry, one of the championship drivers. Oh my God, one of the championship contenders with someone outside of the fight. Apologies for my shambolic English. As Mabs gets himself his first penalty for the race, as I predicted, they are starting to stack up. I think what JD Bailey is going to be worried about is that he's going to get caught in a slightly slow DRS train as Stevie is gaining all the time. I would not send it there, mate. And he recognises it's too far back, although he's got a compromised exit, and that's not going to help him too much. He's definitely going to have to wait until the back straight to make a move now. But it should be fairly easy, provided he doesn't make any major mistakes between now and then. Wow, an Energy Jet is flying. He's found the pace now. I think Stevie might be struggling with some overheating. He's made a mistake as well. He's lost a second and he is out that DRS. Or is he? I believe he has just about missed it as Stevie. So he's definitely going to have to push to get back into it down this straight, although I think he's going to have more pace. Energy Jet has lost a lot of ERS, and Stevie does get back in there in the end. Andreas has the fastest lap of 109.8. and he is definitely looking for a move. He's gone for definitely a 2-stop strategy, as the softs aren't going to last this long. And JD Bailey is not going to want to be there right now, because he needs track position more than anything. He needs to try and stay with the top 2 guys when they make their stop, so he doesn't get completely factored out of it. But Andreas is flying behind him, so that is certainly important. Meanwhile, Stevie is getting closer to the AlphaTauri, just about 4/10 in it. Going down into I'm going to look at the names of some of these corners because this is shambolic. But yeah, he's losing so much time through that corner, especially. He is going to have the DRS though, but he's also about 2/10 there, which is not what he will want at all. But he does have the DRS this time. He's going to deploy every ounce of that ERS. He's already flying. I think he is going to make the move. Jacob Tucker is using his ERS, but Stevie has that DRS assistance. He's faking to the inside. I think Stevie's gone in too hot. Stevie has gone in way too hot there, and that's going to be a fairly easy switch back. He just about missed his braking point. He over speed was too much for him to handle, but now Stevie does have the DRS on Energy Jet. Is he going to make the move second time around? I believe he is. But Energy Jet comes in inside. Stevie's on the grass. Would you believe it? Oh, it's so close between the 2 of them. Energy Jet covering off the inside. Stevie sticking there, and now he's got the overspeed on the right again. He has to go onto the grass. It is so close. Stevie not turning off his ERS at all. These boys fighting tooth and nail. This is absolutely fantastic racing to watch. Stevie's going to need to turn that ERS off though, because the traction is going to be a nightmare for him, especially coming out of this corner. And yeah, he just about gets it off in time. Energy Jet stays ahead. Fantastic racing from these 2. And all the time it has to be noted that Stevie's tyres are going to be going further and further off. And this is this defence is buying Jacob Tucker more time. As yeah, the edge of the soft is certainly gone right now. No extra grip to be found for Stevie, but he is not going to be, he's too far back. He's saving his ERS a little bit, being a little bit more tactical with it. He can see that Jacob Tucker after that fight is completely derating. JD Bailey on the other hand, he's got up into P3. That is fantastic from him. That's exactly what he needed, and now he's going to push away to try and get to these 2, and if they keep fighting, this could work perfectly into his hands. Yeah, I'm going to look at the corner names now while we have a few. We have a short comms break. Oh yeah. Cool. As he comes through Pignarino now, that was the one I was grasping for. And Jack is getting a little bit of time. Meanwhile, Stevie may be about to fall out of Jacob's DRS. As you can see, he is struggling a lot for grip. And I think Jack he might be able to get into it this lap, would you believe it? I don't think he is, because Stevie's just about deployed enough ERS and got a good enough exit. But he's not in the DRS of Jacob Tucker. These boys are very close to each other now, and I'm not sure what is going to happen. I believe they should break into each other's DRS if Jack gains enough time on this corner, and he has. He's taken that very nicely actually, and he's going to be in the DRS of Stevie, I believe. He is. So now DRS train is formed, and this is perfect for Jack Bailey, because if he hangs behind this, he can save the DRS and he can be a pit stop ahead. This could work out brilliant for him on this on the strategy. As Zabiaka gets past Filippo just about, but they are looking like they're going to go side by side here. Filippo goes very wide. Does not come back on Zabiaka, but he's going to have a look on the inside actually. It looks like maybe a little lock of the brakes. These boys are going side by side. This is fantastic racing, and Sweet Blues looking for it. This is amazing stuff from the 2 of them. Zabiaka's going to get moved down the inside though, it looks like, and yes, he has made the move work. But Filippo is still covering that inside. This is magnificent racing here in ERS 5. But Filippo goes in a bit too hot. The contact with Zabiaka sends it wide, and this Sweet Blues going to make a double overtake here. He takes advantage perfectly, but of course he's not going to have DRS. Sweet Blues does move up into P5, but he is, as I said, he's not going to have DRS down this straight. And it looks like we could see a re-overtake from Zabiaka, although he is derating so much. He has a lot of overspeed. JD Bailey, meanwhile, Stevie is nearly pushed him off track. And Energy Jet is breaking clear. Stevie and JD Bailey, while these guys were fighting, as Filippo makes a move on Sweet Blues, he goes back down into 7th. JD Bailey, is he going to make a move that works here? Stevie's going to cover the inside all the way. It's a very limited space, it has to be said, from the Indian who nearly goes into him. That's a little bit controversial there from Stevie. And he breaks very early as well. This is losing JD Bailey a lot of time. He just has to be patient, realise that he's on the better strategy here. But yeah, it's definitely not easy for him in the slightest. He's going to have to try and make a move down this back straight. Stevie wants his shabby shit desperately. He knows that he's in the underdog in this situation, and as always he's fighting tooth and nail to try and stake his claim to the championship. But as you can see, these soft sides are absolutely nowhere now. Jack Bailey's going to go around the outside. He's got the traction, he's got the overspeed. Stevie is going to stay. He's not going to stay out. I think he might have sped into the pits. No, he's just about saved it as Stevie. He's going to come to the pits onto the medium tyres now. It's been a good stint from him, but he definitely knew it was his time in, and he has to bank on a safety car really. Meanwhile, all this battling, Andreas is actually caught back up now. I'm not sure if he's going to have more grip. He's not going to send it down the inside. That would be a very irresponsible move, and he just about backs out. He definitely had a look in though. And this is definitely pressure time for Jack Bailey, who's going to try and push away so Andreas does not overtake him on what could be an inferior tyre in just a few laps. Of course, Jack now is going to have a little bit of a major advantage actually over his teammate on those medium tyres. 8 lap difference between them, would you believe it? But an issue is that he's got to deal with Andreas Kliers behind him, who is definitely going to make the move coming into turn 1 here, down the back straight. He uses that ERS. Jack Bailey is not going to defend, he's going to let him go. Maybe the wise decision, maybe he could bridge the gap, although knowing how long he's been on those softs, I worry that they might be off a little bit and he might not be able to push into Jacob Tucker's DRS, but who knows. If these guys can work together and avoid fighting too heavily, it could be a decent race for sure. Could be a decent result in bridging that gap. And yeah, Andreas is gaining time. Actually, those softs still do have the edge, or at least on those older mediums. About 1.8 seconds separates him and Jacob Tucker when it was closer to 2.2 at the start of this lap. Meanwhile, Zabiaka, JS Villeneuve and then Mark and Sweet Blues. Mark done very well to get back into 8th after his spin in the first lap. There were 5 cars all battling for that 1P4 here. Sweet Blues, he's not going to have a look on JS Villeneuve going into Pinerino. They all brake well. Looks like Zabiaka actually does have a bit of an advantage on Felipe. Those soft tyres are going to be absolutely crying enough, by the way. He's definitely going to have to get into the pits this or next lap. I fear for him if he doesn't. Meanwhile, Andreas is pushing hard. He's used almost all his DRS on this lap. Jack Bailey is just about managed to stay in the DRS if he can manage to get the exit right. I think he's just about going to have the DRS of Andreas, so he's going to be able to stay there. But Andreas is flying actually. He's clearly had a lot of pace in those tyres since he got on them, and I think he might actually be in Jacob Tucker's DRS this lap, and that would make for a fascinating situation certainly. Stevie from P9 makes a move on Mavs into P8. He's got some coming back to do for sure, but he's going to have the pace. And yeah, as I said, never count anyone out. Andreas accelerating hard. He is finding every bit of traction he can, but he is very quick right now. I think he's got into that DRS as well. That is crucial for Andreas. So now he's going to be putting Energy Jet under pressure. These two battle. I mean, Jack Bailey can surely get into that gap. Well, no, because Energy Jet has chose to avoid that battle, and he's gone into the pits. And now this is where it gets interesting. This is where he's going to go onto the soft tyre. See the stop. Is it all good for AlphaTauri? It is. Is he going to come out in traffic? This might be clean air for him. This might be very good. But is Stevie actually going to make the undercut? Oh, this is going to be interesting. It was so close between these guys before they got out the pits. I think Stevie, they're going to be side by side. They're side by side coming out the pits. This is exhilarating stuff. But Stevie has got the move done. And this is going to lose Energy Jet countless time. You know Stevie, he is going to defend with his life. Hopefully we don't see an incident between these two, but yeah, the hard racing from Stevie may become a factor, and yeah, Jake is going to be losing all that valuable time while he is stuck behind him, and he's got into the back of him. He's completely missed his braking point. I don't know if he's got damage. He would be very lucky not to have got it. Let's see if he's understeering a lot through this corner. No, he's not got damage on his car, but if you look how much space he has, it's absolutely incredible. So close, but yeah, the overspeed and the grip caught him off guard really there. But I think he should hopefully be able to make the move. Jack Bailey is out of Andreas' DRS, which isn't going to help him too much. He's not going to be able to move away as much, pull away as much as he would have hoped from his teammate. Meanwhile, Villeneuve and Zabiaka gone for a switchback. Actually, no, Villeneuve has covered it off well, and he's on a hard tyre, so he's going to the end. Could we even see... could we see a podium? Could we even see a win? I don't know if it's his first of the season. But Zabiak is going to go down the inside. He broke at similar levels. Zabiak with a little lock up. And in the end, he has to see the position to Villeneuve, which swings the momentum back to that of Sweet Blues. And he has to make a little bit of evasive action. Zabiaka breaks very differently to him into that corner. As Energy Jet is in P7, he's gapped Stevie by a few tenths. Can Stevie stay in that DRS though? Let the car carry him. I think Stevie's also got a penalty in the last few laps. Yeah, 3 seconds for the Indian. As I said, yeah, 11 drivers now on penalties. Now with penalties. As Andreas is still putting it away from Jack, a couple of tenths a lap now. The rear edge of these softs is starting to fade. I think Jack also being a little bit tentative because he knows the position he's in. If he manages to make these tyres last till the end, he could have the championship sewn up. Really, probably the underdog coming into this situation. I did feel like Jacob did have the superior pace here as well. He did set a 9.1. That is a exceptionally fast, exceptionally quick fastest lap. But he is going to get up to this train sooner rather than later. These boys aren't stopping anytime soon, and he's going to have to work his way through this one by one, which could cause problems for him. As I was going to look something up. I was going to look up if Villeneuve had a win or not. So if you'll just excuse me while I do that. As yet he has got into that second range in, well, no time at all really. Showing that the grip he has, he's going to be coming up to these guys, and he has to make these moves count. He has to time it right, and he has to be patient as well. He has to avoid doing what he did with Stevie. Look how close he is to Mark. This is absolutely incredible. No way have I just seen that. I don't know if Mark let him through, but that is an absolutely incredible move from JD Bailey. Jacob Tucker. I must have called him Jacob Bailey so many times. I do apologise for that. But now he's already derating on ERS. Zabiaka has no DRS, and Energy Jet, he's going to make the move down the inside. He's going to avoid contact with Sleep Blues. He's going to have the grip coming into the corner, and JD Bailey gets himself up into Energy Jet gets himself up into P5. I cannot differentiate between these two. They're like the same person to me. They've been so close all season. But now Energy Jet is going to make the move down the inside. Oh, they made contact! They do make contact. I don't know if Sweet Blues has got damage there. JD Bailey again. Oh my god, Jacob Tucker again making contact with a slower car. I don't think it's injured him because he looks like he is gaining a mountain of time on J.S. Villeneuve. But yeah, Jacob, could the pressure be getting into a little bit? I'm not too sure. And he's out braking himself. He has a little bit of a habit of applying throttle while braking, which is never gonna do him any favours. But yeah, the pace advantage he has right now is absolutely sensational, and he nearly goes into the Ferrari's back again. Mind you, he has dealt with his traffic almost impeccably, apart from that incident, which I feel like was rested more on the shoulder of Sweet Blues than anything else. But now Energy Jet is going to look for that move. Limit contact! Oh, he's gone! No way! Energy Jet has made contact. It's a safety car. He has made contact. This is his championship out the window. And all JD Bailey now had to do to finish, Energy Jet. I don't know exactly what happened there, but the two drivers made contact. I believe Villeneuve lost his wing as well. That is absolutely incredible. And Energy Jet, would you believe it, is out of this Brazilian Grand Prix. And I told you anything could happen, and that is exactly what we meant, a crash on a straight of all places. And he is going to be absolutely devastated with that. And I sympathise greatly as Villeneuve limping around on no wing. I think he might be about to let his teammate through here. It's so frustrating for Stevie, who is going to be stuck behind that Ferrari. He's got to get out of the way surely, but that is... Villeneuve presses retiring session. He does not want to go any further. I don't understand what's just happened there, but either way, Jacob Tucker is out, potentially the championship race, unless Jack Bailey DNFs. That is all he has to do, is finish the race. As Jack is going to come into the pits. He's going to pit onto some soft tyres. Andreas as well is going to get on a mediums this time. No overtakes in the pits. That is absolutely mind-blowing. And these two having a conversation in chat, and that is heartbreaking for Jacob Tucker. His first season in league racing, and it's almost all but done now. All but lost, as Andreas nearly overtakes the safety car. That's not going to help him. This is JD Bailey to lose now. He's been very composed all season. I'd be surprised if he lets it slip away. But yeah, just a real thought to Jacob. He's obviously going to be devastated with that. That is, especially for your first season league racing, it shows how tough it can be after you've been the standout driver in this decision in divisional season. But yeah, that is how it goes sometimes. I haven't looked at the incident. I will look at it now and give you some sort of provisional steward's verdict as to what the as to who the blame rests on for that collision. But either way, heart-wrenching stuff to see. I'm gonna have a look now. So we see JD Bailey, Shaker Tucker over the DRS. Villeneuve is moving around, and oh wow, Villeneuve did move across a little, and it sent Jacob straight into the wall. And I do feel like blame really does have to rest on Villeneuve for that. And I feel awful for Jacob, because that's not really a situation that is on him. But of course, that is the way it goes sometimes. And yeah, thoughts go out to him, as he's going to watch the last 10 laps probably in anticipation of what is probably going to happen. But of course, it's not over yet. I mean, I've been speaking about it like it's over, but it isn't. JD Bailey has to finish this race, preferably. I mean, he's in the prime position to do it in P1 without any penalties. All he has to do is get past Andreas, who is on the much slower medium compound at this point. Safety car will surely be going in this lap for the last, 9 laps of the Brazilian Grand Prix here. As unfortunately, as I feared, there was an incident with a slower car, and it's kind of taken the excitement off this race a little bit. Of course, if JD Bailey finishes and Stevie gets a podium, it swings over to him. Would you believe it? So he doesn't finish, as Andreas has not gone. He's going right into the line, and now he has. I think Bailey is going to seem part there, going 3 wide. Sabiaka is going to have to back out on the inside, and he's got into JD Bailey. Andreas moves across. The racing is intense now, and there's been a car sent off flying into the wall. That is Sweet Blues. He's going to have lost his wing there surely, and I don't know what happened there, but it was a big collision. And the Alfa Romeo, who's driven very well today, it has to be said, has unfortunately been sent flying off, and that is going to be his race over. without another safety car. Meanwhile, Andreas is actually showing some good pace now. Zabiaka is going to go for a slightly aggressive move. But in the end he backs out of it. But of course Jacob joins the session back. Yeah, Andreas is actually really putting a gap in. He has shown some excellent pace, and this is his best pace of the season by far. The Belgian driver, and considering JD Bailey is on fresh soft tyres, this is not what I would have expected. Although I think he might be taking it easy to some extent. This is still, yeah, far from what I predicted. And Zabiaka is breathing down the neck of JD Bailey here. 1.1 seconds up on his time. That is how much pace these soft tyres have. And it looks like he might have exceeded track limits there, I'm not too sure. But now here we go. So Jack is closing in a little bit now. It's been a couple of attempts this lap. DRS is going to be open next lap. Sweep losers in the pits. He's probably going to go for the fastest lap, and I'm sure he will get it. Although, yeah, he will not be happy with the result. That is for certain. JD Bailey 5/10 up on his best lap time. He doesn't have DRS on this lap. He will have it next lap. He's almost gapped Zabiaka by a second. As he does a 9.1, which is almost the fastest lap of this race. Yeah, the extra grip is showing now. Stevie, meanwhile, tell you what, although he has a penalty, don't count Stevie out, because if there's an incident up front and Stevie gets through and wins this race, he could do it. I mean, he's 11 points behind Jack Bailey right now, and so currently he would be finishing in P4, Jack in P2. So if there's a swing. If Jack goes down to P4 or gets a penalty or spins or something like that, Stevie is very much in with a shout with it, and that would be an amazing story to see Stevie come back from such a torrid season, so many unfortunate DNFs, as I believe he is going to get into that DRS pretty soon. Jack, you can see he's braking so much later than he was on the previous set of tyres, and he's using that ERS all the way down the back straight. He wants to win this race. He wants to feel like he's earned it. But Andreas he hasn't got that much DRS. Is Jack going to go down the inside? No, he backs out a little bit. He's going to set himself up for the exit onto the Retro Posta, but he definitely gets a warning there. That is a definite warning for Jack Bailey. He has gone over the centre S's, and I think Andreas is going to keep in front for now. And could Andreas defend to the point where Jack's tyres go off right at the end of the race? If they did that, it'd be one of the best wins I've seen, because the soft tyres are very, very hard to defend against in the latter stages of these kind of races, these kind of tracks especially. Meanwhile, Filippo was on for a podium from P6 as well. Shout out to him after taking the softs 18 laps earlier on in the race. Of course, nothing is given right now. Now here we go. He is derating his Jack Bailey, and Andreas goes to the inside. He moves to the outside, and he is going to have the overspeed on the street. Stevie sets the fastest lap of a 9.1. I think he's definitely going to get into the DRS of Andreas here. What he needs to do really, if he wants to stand any chance of the championship, and yes he has. By late braking, he's managed to get into that DRS, although he is under a second right now, and the two boys do actually have lower ERS than him. There is contact between Andreas, we can see it from Stevie, and between Andreas and Jack Bailey. Both drivers low on ERS, and this could be a Stevie win, to be honest, at least on track, if the two are very careful from now. Of course, if Stevie finishes on the podium here, as Andreas, it's a really big slide. If Stevie finishes on the podium here, and with the fastest lap, he is ahead of Jacob Tucker. So it could right now it's a second position for him, I believe, as he has he has gapped Filippo by enough at this point, and he also has the DRS on Andreas Kleis, who is not shying away from Jack right now. They're both low on ERS, neither able to pull away from the other. And soft tyres as well will be a little bit trickier to manage right now. Just 4 laps to go on this Brazilian Grand Prix. So check, where did Andreas come from? He came from P7, which is impressive, very impressive right now from the driver. And yeah, he's the biggest winner alongside Boomer, although there's been some DNF cars which have aided him in that sense. I do believe this could actually be Andreas' chance to this could be his chance to win his first race of the season, I think. As well, I need to check though. I apologise, I have been absent, as I said earlier in the stream, at times, so I'm not too certain with some of the events towards the last stages of the season. What I do know, however, is that these three have pulled away massively, and it is anyone's race right now. That penalty is going to plague Stevie so much. I'm just going to check the warnings while they go down the Retro Aposta. Jack has he has 2 warnings actually. That could be big. Andreas has none. Stevie has got 5 warnings. They're going to go side by side, and I'm so sorry for missing that. But if 3 abreast here, Andreas has made the move on JD Bailey down the Retro Aposta. You would have been able to see that in the background. JD Bailey does back out. Is Stevie going to go for a lunge down the inside? No, JD Bailey just about has the overspeed coming into this tricky middle sector down through Pignorino now. They stay in the same queue. Just nearly 2 laps to go for this F5 season. Andreas Kleis has retaken the lead. Just as I was checking the warnings. Stevie looking a bit slidey. He has got a much closer gap to Jack than Jack does to Andreas. Sorry. And he's also low on ERS, Jack Bailey. Stevie could definitely get this on track if he manages to time his moves to perfection. As Jack is going to back out once again in the first corner. He hasn't really looked for moves into this race. He's much more preferred the run onto the Retro Aposta. Stevie gets another penalty, and that is going to be it, over for him, I fear. It could also push him back into that range, the range of Filippo, who's about 5 seconds behind. So yeah, not great for Stevie at all. But now the race win itself, I believe Jack does have this championship wrapped up if he can keep the car on the road for at least 1 more lap. Actually, well, I won't spoil it now, but I do believe he has won this championship because of the DNF rule. But I think what we're going to focus on now is who wins this race. Could Andreas pull a really surprise victory out of the bag? Just clarifying that he's 12th in the championship, and he has had 1 P2 this season. That's been his only time on the podium. So yeah, this would be a big result for him, showing his worth. After coming in as a reserve in, I believe that was in Singapore. As Jack puts on the ERS, he does want to make the move this lap. Is he going to go for it? He is going to send it down the inside. He's going to make a move on the last lap of this Brazilian Grand Prix. Andreas cuts across the track. That could be a penalty for him, but he's going to get the DRS to fight back now. Is he going to go for it on a Retro Aposta? This is so tense between the 2 drivers. I'm going to let you watch it out. Andreas sticks it round the outside on Jack Bailey. What a drive from him. Stevie as well is still on the mix to win it on track, although the penalties are going to hinder him. Andreas clears a little bit, and Stevie does have a look on the inside. He's not quite going to make the move on Jack. This is brilliant racing though, and it looks like he might have gone off track there as well. But Andreas has got somewhat of a gap on his back straight. It's going to be nerves everywhere for this final one of the season, especially not more so for Andreas. They're going to run the final corner of the season. Yun Cao, JD Bailey breaks so late, and that ERS is going to come on from now. Is he going to make the move on the last corner. This is so exciting. I think Andreas is going to hold on, but JD Bailey is going to have that overspeed. He's going to avoid the slipstream, but Andreas is going to hold on to win this Brazilian Grand Prix. Absolutely fantastic drive from him. My driver of the day without a shadow of a doubt. Filippo does get up into that P3. The battling in the end did get him ahead of Stevie, but your champion after some incredible events is JD Bailey. He has won the R5 Season 5 championship. It's been a fantastic season, such a close championship fight. The man who was the underdog, he took his chances today, and he has come away with flying colours. And he, on his debut season of league racing, is the champion. But commiserations do have to go out to the man you see there, DNF'd in P11 after a collision on the straight with Joao Santos. Jacob Tucker, commiserations go out to you, mate. He has shown by far probably the biggest level of improvement I have ever seen from a driver in one league racing season. It has been sensational to watch, from struggling to finish in regular midfield to being by far the quickest driver. But yeah, spare thought for him and for Steve as well. He's been a brilliant candidate. Finishes in 3rd place this season. Didn't go his way today, although he did drive very strongly. Just a penalty did let him down, got him out, so I kind of removed any hope he did over the championship. But as you see, Andreas Klies with a absolutely brilliant drive. From keeping Jack Bailey behind on the mediums is not an easy feat. I can say that for sure, and he should be absolutely delighted with himself. I'm going to try and get these boys in for interviews now. Hopefully they can join. I will add them now. But yeah, brilliant race today, and yeah, credit goes to everyone who finished so strongly. If you will give me a sec, please. I'm gonna get I don't know who to get in. I'm gonna go for I'm gonna get Jacob in, and I'm also gonna get Filippo and Andreas in. There we go. So Jack's in, but we've got a few others to go. While we're waiting, congrats, mate. Great race. I'll get to you later. I do not blame you in the slightest. It's been a very intense season, and a race especially. If you if the other boys do join, if not, I can just interview you. But if you want to go back to the stream, it's about an hour and 30 minutes. About an hour in is Jacob as well. Oh mate, Andreas
where's my starter?
Oh, don't worry, man. I'll get to you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Andreas has tagged me and is typing something long now, so I assume he's saying you can't join. Filippo's in. Okay, so Andreas has had to leave, so he is not going to be available for an interview. But I am going to go to Filippo. Philip, he finished, I believe, in P3 today. Talk us through your race, mate. Did very well, getting no penalties, and also a very long stint on the softs. Did you think you could pull off a podium?
Yeah, thank you. Actually, yes. But at the beginning, I want to congratulate JD Bailey for winning the championship. Absolutely deserved, and well drive whole season. And yeah, about my race. So I had a decent start, but my cold tires couldn't made me just stuck behind all the guys and couldn't overtake at the beginning. And then I had an amazing, absolutely unbelievable fight with Sebastian. I don't know how did he crash, but it was absolutely perfect.
It was great to see.
It was my best fight of all time in F1 games. I also didn't pit during the first safety car because I tried something different. It didn't work out perfectly, but then the second safety car actually saved my race, and yeah, then the last 10 or 8 laps were really intense, and I have also a really good fight with Mark or Sebastian in the end. So
yeah, it was a really great battle just behind the front rows.
I got that podium, so
yeah, you did really well to do that. So if my calculations are correct, I believe, the standings have already been filled in by Routinho, and so you have finished P4 this season after 3 podiums in a row at the end. That's brilliant from you, mate. But I remember watching you at the start of the season. You always seem to get pole. I think Baku, Britain. I think there were a couple others, or I can't remember off the top of my head. But did you feel like you could have maybe gotten to the top 3 this season? You're only 34 points off in the end. Were you? Are you disappointed to finish P4 or relieved? Like how do you feel about your overall result?
Actually, I'm really happy because it was my second full season in league racing, so quite decent one. But of course, I'm disappointed because I couldn't really. Really convert that pole position into a win, like in Baku or in Silverstone. And also I made some mistakes in often. And yes, in the beginning of the season I was quite like a Mr. Saturday, I guess. So,
yeah. Well, I mean that's not the worst thing. One, you get points for pole position in this league, and 2, it shows that you definitely have the potential to do even better next season in whatever division you might be in. And also, we're going to ask all of you this: who's winning the championship this weekend? The actual championship. Who do you think's winning?
So.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people have said. I'll just take that question to all 3 of you right now. Philip, who do you think's going to win?
I'm Team Lewis, so I always support Lewis.
In a Mercedes, yeah. And Jacob, I'll get on into your interview, but we just got to ask the all important question first. Who do you think's winning?
I hope Lewis, personally, but it probably will be Max.
I wouldn't know about probably, mate. I mean, I reckon the pressure's getting into a bit, but who knows? It's going to be brilliant. It's mostly going to be based on Saturday. But anyway, as I said in my last commentary yesterday, we could talk for hours about this. But what we are going to talk about is I'm going to have to ask you about the incident and how you feel about it first, mate. I know it's I was devastated for you, really. I said on stream that you've been brilliant all season, probably the most improved driver I've ever seen. But do you? I mean, how do you feel both towards Joao, and do you feel like disappointed or more like excited for next season and knowing that you can compete better in maybe a higher division? Actually, I mean, what's your overall emotion for the race today?
At first, I was shocked that actually happened, and then it came to sink in, and I was just disappointed. Like, it could go both ways. I could have maybe gone more to the pit wall, but overall, it's been an incredible season for me personally.
It has, especially for your first season in league racing. It's been really great to see, especially Jack as well. We'll come on to you in a sec, mate. But I mean, how have you improved so much? I mean, is it been the practice, especially for these races? But because I mean, I'm sure there are some people who want to know, like you've been watching this season, who want to know how you've got so much quicker.
It's just practice. It's like just hours and hours of practice with Jack, and in time trial.
Yeah, that's very understandable. I mean, it's what makes perfect. But even so, I mean, however much practice you've done, it's only so much someone could improve, and you've almost hit that peak. So it's been brilliant. Although I'm sure there's more to come from you. And so yeah, really sorry for you today, mate. But I'm sure there's a bright future for you in both this league and in racing in general. But we are going to come on to the champion, Jack. Did you feel like you were going to win today? Because I beat mine, yeah. That was a big knock to my ego. I was a bit shocked. That was incredible, though. But yeah, talk us through. So I mean, were you two in party at the time for today, or did you stay out of it? Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was saying I thought you'd be speaking a lot less. I mean, the tension kind of creeping in, but
Yeah.
Fair enough, mate. There, I mean, were you?
It's understandable.
Yeah. Were you when you boxed onto the mediums? Were you going for a one stop? Because I was like, I would have picked the hards, and well, I was deliberating, but I would have picked the hards because there's a guarantee that they'd make it to the end. Were you like slightly worried about your wear, or was it kind of manageable with the medium tire in the second stint? Yeah. Oh yeah, Milan calls the first one on purpose, by the way. So.
Oh really?
Yeah. Oh, Jack, I've got a message from Routinho that can you turn your mic up a bit, mate? Because I mean I can hear it's quiet, but I don't think Routinho can hear you or the guys on the other end on the stream. So if you can turn that up. That's perfect. Yeah, it's just night and day. Oh, there we go. Yeah, where were we? Sorry, I think I interrupted you. Well, I asked you about the mediums. Like, so what number of tyre wear were you on at the end? Did you ever feel like you could puncture?
No, I don't. I mean, I pitted again when Jacob crashed. So.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot about that all convenient safety car. So speaking more about Andreas, because we'll just focus on the race before we focus on your season overall. Did you expect to win because he had some exceptional pace? It has to be said in those mediums. I thought you were going to run away with it. Were you a bit surprised that he had the pace that he did?
Yeah, I mean, I was sort of midway through the race as well. It's been pretty quick, but I think it's his first win.
It is his first win. Yeah, he's had 1 second place, and he's improved a lot.
Yeah, pretty good stuff from him. So well done. So, yeah, I wanted to win the race really.
Yeah. It's also one of those things where it's like if you just have to finish because you know you've got it wrapped up. You have to finish on the podium. So I mean you don't want to send it completely. I do feel like if you really wanted it, like if you had to win the race, if Jacob was behind like breathing down your neck, you would have pushed more. But like I mean yeah, it's very impressive that you're as composed as you are for your first season of racing, because whenever I was in like a good position, I was a complete wreck. So it's been very impressive.
I think I'm still shaking, Ben. So.
Well, I mean, he kept it together on track, and that's what counts. Don't matter about how much you're shaking, mate. But I mean, so season overall, how? I mean, when you came into this, I bet you weren't expecting to win.
No, I mean,
No.
as long as we're not last, we're happy.
Yeah.
Missing Bahrain and then
Oh.
so it's like
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently your voice. I think apparently you can hear. I think the audience can hear you through the echo, Jack, because Routinho has said, because my mic has an awful echo, as you might have noticed. He said he can hear you, but can you check the setting of allow your voice to be shared? Like, because it's somewhere in party. It's somewhere in party settings. I mean, if not, I can cut it short because we've been going on for ages anyway.
Settings.
Yeah.
okay, well,
Should just be in party settings.
right, is that better?
I don't know, but I think if you pressed it, it should be fine from now. I'm not going to watch the stream because the sound will be awful. But yeah, so you're saying you didn't want to finish last. I mean, you've actually managed to completely reverse that and finish 1-2 in the championship and win the constructors. So fairly impressive. Has to be. Wait, no, did Stevie get it? Sorry, mate, I might have got that wrong. Did Stevie get it at the end?
No, it was. I think he's tied on points by the looks of it.
But I think Jacob got more wins. So
Yeah.
you two have won the championship. So there's a crumb of comfort for you, Jacob, that you did get second, which is certainly the least you deserved. I mean, I mean you two were evenly matched all season. It's been for when I have been here. We're not going to talk about that. When I have been here, it's been brilliant to watch. And I am going to wrap it up here, boys. I feel like we've gone over our run time by a fair bit, and my dinner's waiting. But yeah, thank you so much for making the season what it's been. It's been a pleasure watching you, both of you two, and Philippe as well. Hopefully you can come back even stronger next season. Sorry, we kind of banged on about these two, and don't want to forget you as well. Great podium today. And yeah, well, to everyone who's watched this season, thank you for making it what it has been. I've been Ben. These boys are the champions, and I will see you